Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Well. I wonder if there will be a single rabbi in the entire United Kingdom who doesn't make reference in some way, shape, or form to the coming of football home this weekend, all being well. B'sha'a tova, as we say. So I'm not any different. It's been on my mind, it's been on the nation's mind, and we're all very, very excited. And I know that last night on the Chicken Soup, people were reliving momentous events that they can recall, perhaps the 1966 World Cup final being one of them, the last time there was anything to celebrate in this country. And hopefully this weekend we'll see a fortuitous tide of events. That's what we're all hoping for very much, isn't it? But there's always something that bothers me with football. And I saw a video from on Facebook from Rabbi Rowe, based in Hendon, and what he said very much resonated with me. It's an idea that I've heard before, but I think it's quite appropriate for sharing with all of you today. There's something quite counterintuitive about the way in which we celebrate and which we cheer for our teams. You know, we've got people in our community born in Germany who last week felt very conflicted. Do I support the Germans or do I support England? We have people of Italian origin living in our community. I'm sure Sunday will be a very conflicting time for them as well. But isn't it so intriguing that generally we preach unity, we preach tolerance, we want everyone to be at peace with one another, but on Sunday we won't be. On Sunday this is war. And football very much does seem to capture people's attention and create that split where you either support the team, in which case I love you, or you support a different team, in which case I hate you. And there's almost something very primal about the way that we relate to football in that way, when otherwise we want to be united. But on Sunday, we will not be. It's quite an intriguing thing. And the idea, the essence, the root behind all of it is much the same as when it comes to actual war between countries. You align yourself and ally yourself with a particular side, and woe betide anyone who is on the other side of that conflict. And in many senses, you know, this is something that Rabbi Rowe pointed out. The language that we use in football very much plays in to this theme of war. You have attackers, you have defenders, you have gameplays and strategies where it's all about pretty much oppressing, compressing, putting pressure on the other side in order to achieve victory, or God forbid, to result in defeat. These are all words that we use when it comes to battle. These are all words that we use when it comes to war and military conflict. And football, in a way, taps in to that feeling as well. And so perhaps one of the things that we have to realize is that if we are able in that way to embrace conflict and embrace battle, psychologically there has to be something there. The fact that it captivates so many millions of people, if not billions of people around the world, when ultimately what we're talking about is battle and conflict, there must be something that is resonating with our psychological constructs that we have to think about and that we have to pay attention to. And Judaism does have a relevance to this and does have an answer for this. We say in Jewish philosophy that we are constantly at battle, not with other nations, not with other people, not with our next door neighbors, but we're always at conflict and at battle and at war with ourselves. It's called the Milchemet Hayetzer, the war of our inclinations. We have a Yetzer Tov and we have a Yetzer Hara. We have a good inclination, the voices in our head, which tell us to do good things. And we have the Yetzer Hara, the inclination and the voices in our heads that tell us to do bad things. And so perhaps one of the reasons why the football world, sporting world in general, competition in general is able to galvanize and captivate so much of our time and attention is because our very essence is tuned in to the concept of conflict. And so just as much as we're excited for this conflict on Sunday, it's also a good opportunity to tap into that mentality and realize that we're always at conflict. We're always fighting against two sides in our psyche and in our mentality. And so it's a good opportunity for us to think about that and to reflect on that and to meditate on that and to realize that our whole lives is built around the concept of suppressing, conquering, and defeating our own Yetzer Hara. It's very interesting that this week's Parsha, double whammy, Matot and Masei, it's incredibly long. But Masei, the second Parsha, is all about journeys. It's all about journeys. And we list all of the different places that the Jewish people moved to and spent time in during the 40 years that they were in the desert. But we have to remember that while we're excited about football coming home on Sunday and coming back to England, the message of this week's Parsha of Masei, the journeys, was all about the Jews coming home. It was all ultimately the destination was to get us to the land of Israel. It was to get us living in our state, in our country, with the Beit HaMikdash, with the temple. And that's another reason why this period is such a strange time for us. We're so excited and elated with the prospect of Sunday, but we're also in the middle of the 3 weeks, trying to keep in our minds as well the destruction of the temple, the fact that we don't have a restored Jerusalem in the biblical sense, and that is one of the things that we reflect on and one of the things that we mourn for. And so while we're also praying for football to come home, we should also try and carve out time and take some time to pray for the Jewish people to come home as well. Football's coming home, but so is, please God, at some point soon, the Beit HaMikdash, the Mashiach. Please God, may it come also on Sunday. Wouldn't that be a fantastic thing? Lifting a trophy and then all of us flying off to Israel to be reunited with the Beit HaMikdash once again. So I'll leave that with you. And in the meantime, I wish you all Shabbat Shalom.